So I'm studying indigenous languages in Mexico, and a lot of people believe that there's a connection between the name Michoacan and Michigan. I want to have an honest discussion about the dangers and consequences of indigenous erasure. My goal isn't to offend people. My goal is to have people be more precarious when they consume information related to history, because it's often history that's used to manipulate and weaponize people's identities. So first we have to learn what a false cognate is. Basically, it's two words that sound very similar from two different language families. So in Spanish, embarazada wouldn't be embarrassed, it would be pregnant. Another false cognate in Spanish to English is a molestar, which is to bother in Spanish. I'm not going to say what it is in English, but so you can consider Michoacan and Mexicama a false cognate for Michoacan and for Michigan. Now, Michoacan was named after a neighboring empire of the people that lived there, the Purépechas, which was known as the place of the hummingbirds. But the Aztecs or the Mexica called them the place of the fishermen, where the fishermen are, because of the lakes and all the fish that existed there. Now, people make the connection between Michoacan and Michigan because of the Uto-Aztecan language family, which has a great range. Likewise, there is the Algonquin language family, which is east of the Uto-Aztecan language family. And, there can be some connection there, some sharing between cultures, trading, and all that kind of thing. But they're still very unique language families. Now, Michigama essentially stands for Great Lake, large body of water. So people make the connection between the place of the fish because of the lakes and the large lake, and they draw a connection between those two language families or those identities. But how does this connect to Nazi Germany and Hitler? Hitler believed in the Aryan race, which you can argue he was a mestizo of. He wasn't that Nordic blonde hair and blue-eyed person, but he was a German. Now, what Hitler did was connect the German people to Indo-Aryan or Indo-Iranian history. This is one of the reasons why the Nazis used the swastika, which is used in India today. So this German swastika was essentially the symbol of fake indigeneity and purity in someone's identity that they don't pertain to. Basically, he had used linguistics and language to connect themselves to the ancient indigenous Aryan people of Eurasia, which is essentially indigenous erasure to prove how pure or how indigenous someone is to a land. And what I want to warn people of when it comes to Mexican American identity is to avoid this idea of using purity in blood. During the period of colonization, blood was used to weaponize against the native identity. And in Germany's case, it was used and weaponized against the Jewish people. Now again, when you observe history, there was connection between tribes, semi-nomadic groups, empires, there was trade, there was communications, there was sharing of culture. But ultimately, you want to be careful of using one group's identity to replace another group's identity. All right, folks, peace.